I could freestyle about it, preach about it, or go off top of the head. But today I bought my notes so I could resurrect the dead. Yeah! Greetings and blessings to my navigators of the seven seas. I am your locksmith, your symbologist, and metaphysical tour guide, Flat Archie 5000. And I'm back with another one as we navigate through the land of Pineal. Today we're going to unlock your Solomon's Temple to decode the symbolism and history of the corona. So as always, strap on your helmet and buckle up your spacesuit because we're on a mental voyage and we're about to take off before the walls of Jericho come crumbling down. In the tradition of entering Solomon's Temple, we must use a meditative master key to help us stay on the path of enlightenment. It is these divine words that have a literal, allegorical, and metaphysical message attached to them when understood in its proper context. So today we give honors and respect to an unknown philosopher who once said, "Those who commit to nothing are distracted by everything." Let me repeat it one more time. For those of you who may have failed time and time again to be consistent in pursuing your goals and dreams, a master builder of character and morality once said, "Those who commit to nothing are distracted by everything." Go on and meditate on that. And click your heels 3 times while I ring this bell of enlightenment for that powerful meditative key of wisdom as you enter the corridors of your Solomon's Temple. Let's get to it, shall we? No time to waste. Take note, masterminds. Throughout history, the crown has been used as a symbol of power, authority, and prestige. However, it has been used as a symbol of spiritual consciousness, enlightenment, and transformation. Whether seen as a symbol of earthly power or divine right, the crown is not just a mere accessory, but a focal point of concentrated energy, a tangible manifestation of divine will. Thus, its mystical stature is steeped in mystery and hidden metaphysical symbolism. And throughout the ages, it was undoubtedly fostered the attention from all people from all walks of life, whomever comes upon it. Consequently, in ancient Samaria, the crown held a significant place in the symbolism of iconography of the region. The crown was a symbol of kingship and divinity. The crown was often depicted as a diadem or headband worn by the king as a symbol of his divine right to rule. The crown was also associated with the goddess Inanna, who was the patron deity of the city of Uruk and the patron goddess of love, war, and fertility. The Sumerian crown was often depicted as a combination of different elements, including the crescent moon, the sun, and the stars. The crescent moon symbolized the goddess Inanna, while the sun symbolized the king's divine power. The stars represented the celestial bodies that were believed to have given rise to human life. The Sumerian crown was also associated with the concept of me, that's M-E, me, which was a spiritual and divine power that was believed to reside within the king. The king was believed to be the physical embodiment of this divine power, and the crown was seen as a symbol of this divine authority. Take note, masterminds of Solomon's Temple. In ancient Sumerian culture, the concept of me, also known as Meh, referred to the divine power of essence that resided within the king. The term me was used to describe the spiritual and divine authority that was believed to be inherent within the king, and which was considered to be a key component of his royal identity. The concept of me was closely tied to the idea of kingship and divinity in Sumerian culture. The Sumerians believed that the king was chosen by the gods to rule over the land, and that he was responsible for maintaining the balance and order of the universe. One must understand that the king's me was seen as a symbol of this divine authority, and it was believed to be a source of power and wisdom that guided him in his decision making. The concept of me was also closely tied to the idea of the king's relationship with the gods. The Sumerians believed that the king was able to communicate with the gods and receive divine guidance through his me. Thus, the king's me was seen as a bridge between the human and divine realms, and it was believed to be a key component of his ability to rule justly and wisely. Let's ring the bell for the Sumerians, the king, and his me. Thus, in ancient Egyptian society, in their symbolism, the crown represented the divine right of the kings to rule. The crown was often depicted as a symbol of the sun god Ra, and was seen as a means of connecting the pharaoh to the divine. The Egyptians believed that the crown held the power to bring prosperity, fertility, and protection to the wearer. The most famous Egyptian crown is the Perchet crown, which was worn by pharaohs from the 4th dynasty onwards. The Perchet crown was made up of 2 crowns, one representing Upper Egypt and the other representing Lower Egypt. The 2 crowns were joining together, symbolizing the unification of the 2 kingdoms under the pharaoh's rule. The Egyptian crown was also associated with the cobra goddess Wajet, who was said to have protected the pharaoh from harm. The cobra symbol was often depicted on Egyptian crowns as a reminder of the pharaoh's connection to the gods and their protection. The Egyptian crown was not just a symbol of royal authority, but also a symbol of spiritual growth and enlightenment. The pharaoh's connection to the gods was seen as a path to spiritual enlightenment, and the crown was seen as a symbol of this connection. Another important aspect of the Egyptian crown is its connection to the afterlife. The pharaoh's crown was seen as a symbol of their eternal life and connection to the gods. The pharaoh's body was mummified and buried with their crown, so they could continue to rule in the afterlife. Furthermore, the Egyptian crown was also associated with the concept of ma'at, which is often translated as balance or justice. The pharaoh's crown was seen as a symbol of ma'at, and it represented the balance and harmony between the gods and humanity. The crown was also associated with the goddess Ma'at herself, who was depicted as a woman wearing a crown and holding a feather, which symbolized the balance and justice that she brought to the world. Let's ring the bell for Ma'at. In Greek and Roman culture, the crown was known as the Stephanie. In Greece, the crown was a symbol of honor and prestige, often awarded to victorious athletes, warriors, and heroes. The most famous example is the wreath of olive leaves, which was awarded to the winner of the Olympic Games. The crown was seen as a symbol of divine favor and was often worn by gods and goddesses such as Athena and Apollo. Furthermore, in Rome, the crown was used as a symbol of a power and authority. The Roman crown, also known as the corona, was worn by emperors and kings as a symbol of their divine right to rule. The crown was often adorned with precious stones and metals, and its design was influenced by the Greek Etruscan art. The symbolism of the crown in ancient Greece and Rome was multifaceted. On one hand, it represented victory, honor, and prestige. On the other hand, it also represented power, authority, and divine right. The crown was often seen as a symbol of the divine connection between the ruler and the gods. In both Greek and Roman cultures, the crown was also associated with the concept of civic immortality, which meant that the wearer's achievements would be remembered for eternity. This idea was closely tied to the concept of the civic cult, which emphasized the importance of public service and civic duty. The crown in ancient Persia, also known as the Achaemenid Empire, held significant symbolic meaning and played a crucial role in the history of the region. The crown was a symbol of power, authority, and divine right. The Achaemenid kings, who ruled from the 6th to the 4th century BCE, wore crowns that were often decorated with precious stones such as lapis lazuli, carnelian, and gold. The most famous crown in ancient Persia is the gold Doric crown, which was worn by King Darius I from 522 to 486 BCE. The crown was adorned with a globe representing the earth and 2 eagles, symbolizing the sun and the moon. The globe was often surrounded by a snake, representing the life-giving waters of the Persian Gulf. The crown also had religious significance, as it was believed to connect the king with the divine. The Achaemenid kings claimed to descend from the god Ahura Mazda, and the crown was seen as a symbol of their divine right to rule. The wearer of the crown was a ritualistic act, and its removal was a sign of mourning and abdication. In addition to its symbolic meaning, the crown also played a practical role in ancient Persian society. The king's crown was often used as a symbol of his authority and power, and its presence was often used to legitimize his rule. As a side note, let me add, when one thinks of a crown of royal presence of prestigious monarchs, one must consider that crowns are not always adorned with expensive jewels, gems, stones, or metals. There has never been one single template that constitutes all the universal connotations attached to a noble headdress. Thus, which brings me to shedding light on the Moorish fez, also known as the tarbouch, which is a traditional headpiece that originated in the Middle East and North Africa during the Islamic Golden Age. The fez was worn by men as a symbol of respect, dignity, and devotion to their faith. The crown-like shape of the fez was believed to represent the celestial crown of Allah, and its red color was said to symbolize the blood of the martyrs. The history of the fez dates back to the 16th century, when it was worn by Ottoman and Moorish leaders as a symbol of their authority and power. The fez was a staple of Moorish royal attire, and its design and craftsmanship were often influenced by the intricate patterns and motifs found in Islamic art and architecture. The symbolism of the fez is deeply rooted in Islamic culture and tradition. The crown-like shape of the fez represents the unity of the Muslim community, with its peak symbolizing the unity of faith and its base representing the foundation of Islam. The red color of the fez is said to symbolize the blood of martyrs who fought for their faith, and its tassels represent the sword of Allah. The fez was also worn as a symbol of loyalty and devotion to the Ottoman Empire, which was a major center of Islamic learning and culture. The fez was worn by Ottoman sultans, grand viziers, and high-ranking officials as a symbol of their status and authority. In summary, the Moorish fez is a traditional headpiece that originated in the Middle East and North Africa during the Islamic Golden Age. Its design and symbolism are deeply rooted in Islamic culture and tradition, representing the unity of the Muslim community, loyal to Islam, and devotion to the Ottoman Empire. Question: why are we talking about the history and symbolism of the crown, and what purpose does this knowledge have in our daily lives today? Answer: take note, my navigators of the 7 seas. Let us now deep dive into the esoteric and metaphysical science of the crown, because it is here where we tap into the nucleus of this science to make understanding understood. Thus, the crown is a symbol of power and authority, and it represents the pinnacle of human achievement. It is a symbol of the eternal and the divine, a reminder of the transcendent forces that shape our reality. Let me ring the bell for that. In fact, I'm gonna repeat that one more time. The crown is a symbol of power and authority, and it represents the pinnacle of human achievement. It is a symbol of the eternal and the divine, a reminder of the transcendent forces that shape our reality. But to truly understand this etheric manifestation of an exalted symbolism, one must be conscious that the crown is a representation of the third eye, that sacred center of intuition and wisdom that connects us to the higher realms. The crown, in its most organic sense, is a representation of the seat of the soul, the gateway to the divine, and the source of our highest aspirations. Thus, the crown chakra is the seventh highest chakra in the human body, located at the top of the head. It is associated with the color violet, and it is responsible for connecting us to the divine spiritual realms and higher states of consciousness. The crown is a symbol that is closely tied to the crown chakra and is often used to represent the connection between the individual and the first spark of cosmic essence. Let's read it. Take note, when a mastermind wears the crown, we are not just donning a symbol of earthly power, but rather we are tapping into the infinite and eternal reservoir of universal consciousness and the divine algorithm of justice and balance. Thus, the crown is also associated with the concept of enlightenment or awakening, which is often referred to as a state of unity with the intangible. This state is seen as a state of complete awareness and understanding, where the individual has transcended the limitations of the physical world and has achieved a higher state of purpose. Thus, beyond the realms of religious interpretation, the heightened state of awareness is symbolically referred to as the Christ consciousness, which is characterized by unity, compassion, love, wisdom, inner peace, and transcendence. Let me repeat that one more time. I'm going to ring the bell for that. Beyond the realms of religious interpretations, the heightened state of awareness is symbolically referred to as the Christ consciousness, which is characterized by unity, compassion, love, wisdom, inner peace, and transcendence. It is a state where individuals is able to see beyond the veil of illusion and perceive reality as it truly is. One is able to access higher levels of intuition and guidance and feel deep compassion for all beings and the universe. This state also associated with higher creativity, wisdom, and understanding. Thus, the vibrational frequency of Christ consciousness is said to be around 7,000 to 8,000 hertz. This frequency is extremely high and is beyond the range of human hearing. However, by tuning into this frequency, masterminds can access higher states of consciousness and experience a deeper sense of connection with the universe. This symbolism is embodied in the concept of a crown of thorns, whereas one is called to make a blood sacrifice. This is not just a physical act, but rather a symbolic representation of the willingness to let go of one's own ego and one's own desires in order to serve a higher purpose. The blood sacrifice is a reminder that our highest aspirations are not just about personal gain, but rather about serving the greater good. This is the realm of divine alchemy, whereas the masterminds turn water into wine while bringing into fruition 2 fish and 5 loaves. Thus, the crown chakra is associated with the concept of higher self or supreme self, which is seen as a state of complete unity with the intangible. This concept is closely tied to the idea of spiritual growth and development. It is seen as a goal that can be achieved through spiritual practices such as meditation and contemplation. In addition, the crown chakra is also associated with the concept of I am, which is seen as a state of complete unity with the divine. This concept is closely tied to the idea of self-awareness and self-realization of one's own ability to manifest their own reality by way of thought and intention. Let's ring the bell for that. Consequently, the crown chakra is also associated with the concept of astral projection or out-of-body experiences, which is seen as a state of consciousness where the individual soul or astral body separates from their physical body and travels to other realms or dimensions. This concept is closely tied to the idea of spiritual growth and development, and is seen as a way to access higher states of consciousness and gain insights into other realms. Thus, the crown is a complex and multifaceted symbol that holds within it the secrets of the universe. It is not simply a symbol of rulership or victory over others, but in fact, it is a measuring stick and compass that is used as a reminder of our highest potential and our call to transcendence. It is a symbol of eternal and the divine path, and a reminder that our journey to enlightenment is not without its challenges. Thus, we must be willing to confront our own fears and doubts in order to open the door of our minds to our highest dormant qualities. So as always, in Solomon's temple, I leave you in peace with these powerful words. The butterfly does not look back at the caterpillar in shame, just as you should not look back on your past in shame. Your past was part of your own transformation, so embrace it and continue to move forward. Let me repeat it one more time just so you can get the memo. The butterfly does not look back at the caterpillar in shame, just as you should not look back on your past in shame. Your past was part of your own transformation, so embrace it and continue to move forward. Ashe, ashe, ashe.